What's up, guys? Jared the Toy Bro here, and we are going to take a look at yet another Masters of the Universe Classics figure. We have got MEKANECK here today, and this is one of the more important Heroic Masters figure in the line, I think. He's up there among the top tier figure ranks. He's harder to get these days, and he's an important figure. He's key to the overall Heroic Masters ranks. So we're going to dig into this figure, take a look. He's pretty cool. Four Horsemen and Mattel offered an interesting solution to not having play features in this line. So let's take a look and see what he's all about. So he's a standard Masters figure in terms of buck. So that's nothing crazy. I'm going to go over his one accessory for as far as a weapon goes first, and then we'll talk about the rest of the figure, and then we'll talk about the action play feature, sort of. So we've got this mace here, and this is similar to the vintage item that he had. It's just kind of yellow with pearly gold accents on these designs here, and then on some of these spikes here as well. Nothing too crazy. He can hold it in either hand. It's kind of a goofy looking club. It doesn't look like it would ever have much effectiveness in battle when you could go with a much simpler design, but it's what he has, and they included it, so it's kind of cool. Let's do articulation first. I'm going to take this and put it aside just to get it out of the way. So we're standard classics articulation. Heads on a ball, left and right, up and down. Arms can go out and they can go up. We've got our bicep swivel. We've got a single jointed elbow, and then we've got those original standard rotation only wrists. We do have a crunch, which goes back a decent ways. Forward, decent enough considering the fact he has the armor piece on. There's a waist twist. Legs can go full splits. There is a twist at that thigh cut. Legs can go forward a bit. Not necessarily 90 degrees, but pretty close. The fuzzy, furry loincloth is going to get in the way. Back a decent bit. Single jointed knee. We've got that boot shin swivel. And then we've got a hinge. And then there is a... There's not really anything there. It's just a hinge. So, standard Motu Classic stuff. Nothing crazy, but not under-articulated at least. As far as sculpt goes, like I said, standard buck. So you're looking at kind of the same stuff we've seen for anything else, really. Furry loincloth, belt, bracers, the furry boots with the straps on them. The difference for this figure, in one way, is the armor. And he shares this with Stinkor. It just snaps on over the buck, so you can see pops out there. He's even got the hole for Stinkor's tanks. So that's how you know. I mean, aside from the fact of the design being exactly the same. And here he is for comparison's sake. So you can see those are the exact same. You could pop his tanks off and put him on MEKANECK if you were so inclined. But it's got a lot of little sculpted detail in it. And it looks nice on this figure, and I think it works really well. The head is obviously what's really different about this guy. The rest of him is pretty much 100% parts reuse. So that head is interesting. I think it looks really good. It looks normal, in terms of what this character is supposed to be. He's got that kind of robotic type head on top of a normal human head. The only real kind of oddity about this, aside from, the weirdness of the design in the first place, is that if you look close enough at the face, you'll see that how it's positioned, there's no way his eyes are actually within these triangles that you see on the head there. And if you were to, kind of move the body enough around, you could see where the eyes are possibly supposed to go. So it's just kind of an odd thing, possibly due to how they had to design the piece to fit on the head. It doesn't come off, it's one piece, but it's worth noting. As far as paint on this guy, there's a decent bit. We've got the boots are painted, and they've got the kind of metallic silver straps on the flat gray. We've got a metallic green on the belt. The bracers are metallic blue against the flat blue of the body. We've obviously got silver paint on the armor, on the head. So he's got a decent bit for a character that is, for all intents and purposes, kind of mostly reuse. So I think he looks the part, outside of the weirdness around those eye sockets, I guess. So let's take a look at what they did to give us somewhat of a play feature. All right, so what they did to sort of give us some semblance of a play feature with this guy is to give us interchangeable necks. MEKANECK. His head extends, his neck extends. So the vintage figure would pop up, but we don't have that in this line, so they gave us two extensions for MEKANECK. This one is about 3 inches tall. This one is 6 inches tall. So you can see it is almost as tall as MEKANECK himself. He's about these are 7-inch scale figures roughly. So it's pretty damn big. So what you mean, it's obvious what you do here. Take him, pop his head off. Take this one, for example, pop it on, and then knock the other one over and pop that one on. And there you go. So you could see with this one on there, it's going to be even bigger. The only real downside to this is that it does make him rather top heavy. There's a lot of weight. There's a lot of weight to this to begin with. With the shorter one, it's a lot easier. But with this one, he does become a little more wobbly and slightly unstable, but not to the point where you can't find a way to position him. So that's not a big issue. As far as the pieces themselves, they've got kind of, you know, techno kind of cybernetic designs etched into them. There is a bit of a wash in those lines, but for the most part it's flat gray, silver. But they look really cool. I like that they included them. I like that you have the options. I don't display him with either of them, and if I was going to, it would be the shorter one. This ultimately looks a little goofy, you know, when he's a 12-inch tall figure on your shelf next to a bunch of smaller figures. But I like that, you know, if you want to, you know, take some cool pics of him or, you know, get a battle scene going, obviously you're going to want to have him doing his thing, and they provided us with the option for that. So overall, I really like MEKANECK. I think he is a cool figure. He is a quintessential Masters of the Universe figure. You kind of have to have him to round out some of that heroic side ranks. So he's an important figure. He's a good reuse of parts in pretty much all aspects except for that head and the neck pieces. So they did what they do for Masters. They reuse pieces to make a new figure, and I think they succeeded with this guy. I think his mace is kind of goofy, but that's what he has, so it's not a big deal. I like the fact that they gave us the 2 neck extensions. It's something cool to play with, something cool to make a nice scene with, and ultimately he is a good figure. He's not great, he's not bad, he's a good figure. So that is going to do it for this review, everyone. As always, stay tuned for more. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.